You need facts, figures, scores, and scoops, and the truth.
It is the Friday edition of Not the Sports News. So let's take a look at the week that was. And man, oh man, what a roller coaster journey. We've had so much happening and so much more to come. A Club World Cup is on the horizon. And if we throw back, it was Bafana Light in action, as well as the men's senior national team, Bafana, in 2 international friendlies. So as I said, a busy week, a busy time. Bafana and Bafana Light doing the nation proud. However, not everybody is on the same wavelength, I think. Let's take a look at Tanzania. Coach Hugo Bros handed senior debuts Kulamani Ndamane, Dino van Rooyen, Selepe, Lina, Nkota, all of them earning caps. Thumbs up. Plenty of possession and chances, but poor decision-making in the final third. Mbata missed a good opener. Late subs that brought energy. Yeah, it was Mofokeng, who nearly scored with a 40-yard lob. But the game ended scoreless. So former Bafana midfielder, Yestsova Lakazi, he wasn't that impressed.
Look, yeah, it was good. As I would say, special for me to see the point I must say he did very well. He's a player that I've been, checking, the past season, that which has finished now. Very good defender, very good, solid centre back for TS Galaxy, and he showed against Tanzania what is it that he can do. And yeah, seeing Selepe in the national team, I was like, wow, am I dreaming, or is it not possible? Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, but there's always gonna come up with questions in terms of certain players that we will always think and believe that they also deserve an opportunity. Players like Nduli from Stellenbosch, and also the other player that I like, Maloy-san. Well done, son. It was not a bad taste in terms of the players that were there for us. I think players that were called up, they deserve to be there. My question was, why Mfokeng was in the bench? Again? Tanzania? In the bench? Okay. Apolise, well done again. He's continuing proving that he can be one of the best players again. And yeah, yes, a draw. Yeah, it's a draw, but I think we are supposed to win the game. Even though Tanzania second half, I think they started to play more like a team, started to come to our half to cause some problems there and there. And yeah, the other player that I was not happy about, and I love the player. I love this boy. I love this boy. But I sense something's not right. The player that I'm talking about is Utito Maswangani. His body language for me, he's not okay. He's not okay. I don't know what's happening with him, but I sense, I don't know. I sense something is not right in him. I can be wrong. I'm not saying whatever that I'm saying. I'm correct. I can be wrong, but most of the time, how I feel, it's always what I'm feeling, and I've got a strong feeling that something's not right with Utito. But hope it's not something that is gonna be with him permanently. It's something that is just gonna go away, especially as now it's after the Bafana games. I think he's gonna have a break. Maybe he's gonna regroup, because it's one player that we really need him at his best in South Africa, because a car without an engine, that car can move. So a body without a brain, it means that body can't do anything. That's Tito for you. He's one player that I like. I like his play. I like his thinking. I like his influence in the game. And yeah, I sense, I've got a strong feeling that something is not okay with him. And I hope, boy, Mina my door is open for Nagiti. Mina anytime if you need anything, you need to talk. Mina corner boy, corner. You can call me at any given time. Then we can talk. But I've got a strong feeling that something's not right. But I hope it's not a permanent thing.
If we take a look at Mozambique, that is where we fared so much better. Bros using this match to continue integrating new talent into the fold. A new captain, new energy for Waz Basadine. He wore the armband. And for more clinical, I have to say, in this particular encounter, Kwayiba scoring in the second half, Cupido on the 70th minute, and it was Nkota who was influential and rated man of the match by observers. However, Bafana continued to show poor decision-making in the final third, lapses in concentration at the back, and frankly a lack of killer instinct in front of goal. So South African football has technical talent, but where's the clinical edge and where's the leadership when things start to go sideways? Frustration from the fans is real and it's fair in this international friendly, but Bafana should be dominating these fixtures, not scrambling for respectability. And the talent is there, but the question is, does the team have the mentality to match it? Coach Hugo talks about building for the future, and that really starts now. Otherwise, we risk being a team of promises but delivers too little. But the final thought is, disappointed by the result, are you? Because there's so much potential. And I guess it's back to the drawing board with the big World Cup qualifiers set to come in September. And who will Coach Hugo Bros at the end of the day use in order to get this team up and running and firing? On the horizon, we know a Club World Cup is coming, right? We also know that a Mamelodi Sundowns will be in there. But if you take a look at the tournament, though, it's the first ever 32-team World Cup, Club World Cup, that is. It runs from the 14th of June to 13th July across 12 U.S. cities, featuring 8 groups of 4. And man, $1 billion in prize money. Winners earn $125 million. And tickets, well, if you take a look at the sales, though, dropping from $349 to $73, it does talk about just the affordability and perhaps how famous is it? How popular is it? And if it is, that at the end of the day, people are actually going to go and put bums in seats. I mean, if you take a look, Al Ahly, they bring that continental pedigree. There's a star-studded Miami. They're yet to prove that they can compete in top elite. So it is Mamelodi Sundowns. It's their first game, Ulsan Hyundai. That's happening on Tuesday, midnight our time. And Sundowns bring their signature shoe shine and piano style, short, sharp passing built on domestican and African dominance. And if you take a look at Ulsan Hyundai, the South Korean champions are renowned for their tactical discipline, quick transitional play. They expect a cautious midfield battle, and Sundowns are seeking to control tempo. Ulsan aiming to counter swiftly, and players to watch if you take a look at a Sundowns team, a man we've mentioned so many times on the show, Lucas Ribeiro Costa, Icky Reyners, prolific in PSL, and Sundowns' striking spearheads. In goals, you've got Ronwin Williams, CAF goalkeeper of the year. He's keen organising the backline and marshalling his team. Ulsan, it's Heo Yul, he leads the attack, and Umwon Sung, he dictates midfield tempo. And some don't think that Sundowns will hold in their own in this tournament. We've chatted about it. Tova Lakazi has so much to say. Umtokozisi Dube says, we'll be at the airport very soon, saying, welcome back, Sundowns. Welcome home. Have yourselves a bit of an off-season, because if you want to win the 9th title, now's the time to rest those weary legs and muscles before you try and do it again for a 9th time in a row.
You know, they can say the coach himself and his friend, Flembeck, they will say the team is ready. But I'm telling you, that team is not ready. That team, the team that lost against Pyramid, that team is not ready for Club World Cup. If they're going to win a game, guys, I'll take you for lunch. I'll take you for lunch. If they're going to win a game, I will take you for lunch. With that creativity, I'll take you for lunch. Trust me. Trust me. I don't see them. I don't disrespect pyramids. But when you look at the pyramids and you look at the teams that Sundowns will compete with Club World Cup, the level is totally different. The quality of players that are playing those teams, top players. They can say they are ready. Yeah, obvious. I mean, now I must go and play. In ready, I can go and play even now. No one would say I'm not ready. But as a team, in terms of the football that they're playing, not for Club World Cup. That football is not for Club World Cup. They're gonna be embarrassed in that tournament. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, if you're gonna concede with crosses like this, here's the cross, and then we make such mistakes like Ghana did, and now we can't, defend the crosses. These teams, they pinpoint when they make those crosses. They pinpoint. It's not just anybody's ball, my cross. No. They know these guys. They know. My sharp it. My sharp, yeah, straight. We striker. Give a Kone. They know. It's not anybody's ball. So with the mistakes, it's announced that they did in the final. That's why I'm saying, yes, they can say they are ready, but let's wait and see. Maybe you never know. This football, you never know. Maybe Cardoso can surprise us and say, guys, let's play Sundowns football. If they will play Sundowns football and see Abu Mshishi in that midfield, Norbert, maybe something different can happen in that Club World Cup. But if he's going to play Ribero's right wing, forget.
Look, I keep going back to the record. I think we did discuss it. The Sundowns record in the Champions League was not very good. I mean, when after Cardoso took over in those 12 games, I think they only won 3. And then you look at, they only scored more than 1 goal once, which was against Maniema away in DRC. So the rest were 1-0, 0-0, 1-1. That was how they went through. And for me, in these kinds of competitions, you need to take your chances. You need to score goals. And looking at the opposition that they're going to face at the FIFA Club World Cup, I don't see them doing much coming out of that group. I don't see them scoring a lot of goals. It's not going to change.
So also in cricket, we've chatted about it on the show, so much happening. Kevin Fine has the latest in terms of SA cricket.
Day 2 of the WTC final between the Aussies and the Proteas belonged to Australia. Their pace attack dismantled the Proteas, putting them on top, and although a recovery was valiant, it was ultimately insufficient. Stage is now set. Can the Proteas reset in Day 3, or will Australia drive home their dominance? Let's recap Day 2. We started on 43 for 4. We showed some great grit. Captain Temba Bavuma getting 36, David Bedingham 39. They rebuilt the innings with a crucial 64-run partnership, and at lunch we were 121 for 5. Until Pat Cummins destroyed our batting lineup. We were all out for 138, Cummins getting 6 for 28. Then was the chance of South Africa's bowling attack. Rabada and Janssen set about the second innings, but Lungi Ngidi stole the show. He took 3 for 35. He dismissed Smith, Webster and Cummins himself. However, Australia finished Day 2 on 144 for 8 in their second innings. That means they lead by 218 runs. They're firmly in control of this match. They have a win percentage in terms of the statistics, and Australia have regained the psychological advantage. They've overturned our fight back with a relentless pace attack, and they look poised to build a huge lead. Now South Africa must regroup, they must rebuild confidence, and they must kick some Aussie ass.
Transfers, what is happening, moving and shaking, who is going where. Very quick summary of all the confirmed moves in South African football if we take a look at the PSL market over the past 2 weeks. And these are the insights. I mean, squad is reshaping, that's underway. Amazulu and Pirates are releasing key senior players and suggesting more youth-focused rebuilds. I like that. Loan market is busy. Pirates and Supersport and others are in action, moving and preparing, so that moving and shaking for the next season. There's so much happening. I know that George Mokoena spoke about the moving and the shaking, and players who end up at Chiefs, and also just the stature of fandom, Celebrityville, if you will. And we hear from him shortly, but also Mtokozisi Dube just gives us insight on a couple of those big names and the big moves that are happening. And remember, June isn't over yet, so there's still so much more to come on that front.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's football. And I think I'm getting that sense with a lot of super sport players that because of the uncertainty about the future of the club, they're also thinking, where do I go? What happens to me? Because there's so much talk about the club being sold. I was actually speaking to one of the, club chairmen, and I was asking about a player that they're chasing from SuperSport. And they said to me, it's difficult to do business with SuperSport because you don't know if they're going to be there. They also are not clear on whether they're going to be there or not. So I'd imagine it's the same situation for Bradley Grobler. As Kukune comes in, they want him. What does he do? So he probably now has to secure his future. But he's been there for so long. I mean, he's been a loyal servant to the club. They've been loyal to him. I mean, through injuries, they've kept him, stood by his side, which he may not get in any other team. I don't think other teams have that kind of but yeah, it's football at the end of the day. He's I think he's 37, towards the end of his career, so he now needs to make those important moves in his career just to wrap it out nicely.
Time is tight, but who else? I mean, big name, would you say a Prince Ndlovu at the moment for 15 million rand to Pirates happens to be perhaps a talking point?
Funny enough, this boy was at Orlando Pirates when he was 16. He trained with them. And I remember asking Makaringe at the time, he was at Pirates, and I said, but what's special about this boy? Because after Pirates, he went to Austria for a trial, but things didn't work out. So it looks like he's a player that they've looked at for quite a while. But I mean, the 15 million rand tag, I think, sounds a bit
exorbitant,
over the top for me. Yeah. I've watched the player. I know him very well. And I read somewhere where they're likening him to the legendary Peter Ndlovu. He's not anywhere near Peter Ndlovu. They're taking it a bit too far. But he's a good player if they do sign him,
Good to know. We'll keep an eye. Any news as I say goodbye as to who takes over at Orlando Pirates?
Look, I'm still on that one. I know I said
I'll
get it the other day. I haven't gotten my hands fully on it. Still need to dig and be sure.
Dig deep, dig deep. You and I will connect on Monday.
I think Munyane going to Kaizer Chiefs is also a very interesting one.
The big question about the moves for Marco and Munyane is basically that, are we signing these players because they're available, or are we signing these players because they can actually fit in what we're doing? So if you look at both of them, they're not necessarily starters for Pirates. I know that Munyane may have had an injury at some point, but are we bringing them in because it's another free agent transfer window for Chiefs, or is it actually people are going to make a difference? My issue has always been with players that have won elsewhere, that have done good things elsewhere, is that when they get to Chiefs, it's almost like they're fulfilling a bucket list item, not necessarily that they're coming to win something. So it's about my grandfather who loved Chiefs or my father who loved Chiefs, not necessarily about, what is it that you're giving me, or what is it that I'm going to give these guys going forward. I personally want to shop where Sundown shops, where Pirates shops in order to get players. I don't want to get, no disrespect to them, but fringe players from the big teams. Marco's 31. I mean, why would you sign a 3-year deal with a 31-year-old, for example? And how long are we going to see it? One example is Utove, because Utove came at an older age. He did give us performances, but for how long? And now we're stuck with a lot of free agents that have come in and have not performed. So I think the transfer strategy should be rethought, and we should be going for the new players, the guys who are coming up, in order for them to fill out the squad, not necessarily these 31-year-olds.
And that's a wrap of the show today. Just taking a look back and just hearing from the contributors. There's just so many opinions. Rich food for thought as well in terms of football in South Africa and the way it's going. It's been the Friday edition. You know where to find us. Everywhere on social media. On TikTok, it's omniaudioafrica, as well as Instagram. It's omniaudio on Facebook, and then hit us up on YouTube as well. We go live every morning. Be a part of the conversation. Like us, follow us, and become a part of the broader football sports conversations that we have every day. Till then, cheerio.